but his ops are very, very high.
Yeah, and you know, in a different way, I feel like they're both that way. Sometimes when MajOr is playing his best game, for whatever reason, he can hang with Koreans. You just kind of loosely threw out there, beat Tasia. Oh, by the way, not many people do that. And in TVT, a matchup that Tasia is very powerful at it. I don't want to call him a TVT sniper, because certainly that doesn't describe Tasia. Tasia's very good at all three matchups, but he's almost he's very good at TVT is the point I'm trying to mumble out here. But then outside of that, to be fair, given the talent that MajOr displays, he doesn't have any big win under his belt. You know, we think back to Blizzard-sponsored tournaments of like 2 or 3 years ago, where he was collecting big checks from Mexico, but that's not super impressive given his ability. And then if you look internationally, there's not a lot to say that MajOr has done to really kind of put a staple on the talent that we all know he possesses, I guess.
Yeah, I think I couldn't have said it any better, Jeff. Either way, we are ready for our first map in this series. Of course, the blue Terran spawning in the left top side of the map. Like Anna already said, a man that goes by many names. This game he's playing under the account of Shofu. He's, of course, MajOr.
And his opponent from Canada, Team Evil Geniuses, HuK. I heard it officially. I can't remember who asked him, but I remember they asked him, you know, if you had to say, where are you from? What is your home country? Texas, I'm terribly sad to report. He said Canada. So he's a great player, but a complete idiot, obviously. I feel like that is, we can say that with...
I can't say much about it. I have so much love for Canada.
Do you really?
Yeah.
You're European. That's only a step above or below Canada, depending on who you ask.
Such a hater you are, Jeff. You are just filled with hate today, aren't you?
No, I'm filled with love, and I've got the tasteless passion just flowing right through me. Like we've actually had really good games. You know, it sucks when there are tech snafus. It happens everywhere, though, and I feel like the people of Lone Star Clash handle it with grace, and it's getting better and better. The games are happening faster and faster, and with these names that are coming up, you know, Axitos was talking about this. We're in elimination period right now. HuK losing narrowly to Violet, a fantastic series. And then MajOr getting put down, I want to say kind of surprisingly, only because I don't know very much about Armani, 2-0. So the loser of this is out of Lone Star Clash. That's pretty shocking.
Yeah, definitely. Two of the biggest names we have in the North American scene. Keeping a close eye on the build orders, because this is getting interesting already, guys. And not interesting in a way that we're going to call everything interesting. This is actually an interesting scenario.
Such perfect force field.
Yeah, you know how it goes. Like, this is 13 Refinery. This is really interesting. It's like, no, this is not that interesting. However, Nexus first for our Protoss player against a very quick factory over here from MajOr. This is the quickest factory you can get. It goes down at like 304. If you don't scout this as Protoss, you're going to be in trouble. Fortunately for HuK, we do see this little red guy making his way.
We got a big moment here, Kevin, because that Marine's right there. Does HuK get hit by the Marine and turn back immediately, or does he go right up there? This is very important. Marine getting a late reaction. It does. It turns around, so he does not get the intel. And I'll tell you what, that fast factory you talked about, equally fast reactor. This is going to be Hellions, fast and furious.
Yeah, and this is also a tricky map. Of course, you can say there's only one entrance that you have to worry about, but these Hellions will arrive so quickly that it is very unlikely that HuK is going to have a force field available. Right. And even if he has, that also means that he has almost nothing else. So he's going to have one force field. Warp gate technology is going to be quite far way off. He will most likely pump out the mothership core as soon as possible. He's going to open up with a Stalker. Now, a Stalker is okay. It can deal damage, but one Stalker is not enough to deal with 2 Hellions, and it's definitely not enough to deal with 4 Hellions. The mothership core is going to come straight after. It's all going to come down to, well, when will HuK realize or identify what he's playing against?
Yeah, you know, ideally, if he scouts us out, he's able to use pylons to kind of trim down that space, or as you said, maybe get a sentry out, although that's tough because then you don't really have any DPS behind that. It's really tough to defend from that point forward. I think the Stalker is the best choice.
But it's only 2 Hellions. I'm a little bit surprised by this because we saw MajOr already switching up the factory. Yeah. So it's only 2 Hellions. MajOr is a player that is very, very keen on scouting. He really wants to know more than your average there and what he's playing against. He goes crazy when he doesn't know. These 2 Hellions still might rack up a couple of probe kills. Line them up.
Yeah, probes lined up a little bit there, but then HuK actually creates some space and ends up actually saving all of the lives of his probes. And at the natural, maybe a couple go down, but I'll tell you what, the scary moment was when they were all lined up in the main natural, or excuse me, the main mineral line, and now one probe dies. Now, to your point, there's no more Hellions coming out from behind that, so it's not like MajOr invested a super lot into this, and he scouted absolutely everything. He probably, with his ability, knows this was a Nexus first, and it can see the 2 gateways with no tech. That's very good.
If we go back to the veto process, and I actually spoke a little bit with MajOr, or about this with MajOr before the series, so this is kind of like false information. Doesn't look like I'm super well informed. I actually just spoke with him about it. But he vetoed Habitation Station and he vetoed Overgrowth. Now, what do those 2 maps have in common? Terrible Reaper maps, very hard to scout for a Terran player in general what you're playing against. And this perhaps, you know, translates a little bit more into this. MajOr opening up with 2 Hellions, not necessarily to deal crazy damage, but just to make sure that he knows what he's playing against, so he won't be caught off guard. Of course, you know, we have full vision. We saw, Nexus first. You have nothing to worry about MajOr, but, you know, for all he knows, he was playing against the proxy target, and he just wanted to make sure that he won't get surprised and he won't get caught off guard. So he was able to eliminate all these crazy options that, as a Terran player, normally you have to worry about. You have to keep it in the back of your mind. MajOr eliminated all of those things and can prepare himself for a macro game right now.
And speaking of, that's exactly what HuK's doing. We're not seeing any kind of Blink Stalker all in, any kind of Stargate. Nothing super risky. In fact, he's playing very safe. We have a drop with a single Widowmine coming in here, but it's actually paired up really nicely with this Observer that's about to pop out. And even such, MajOr's gonna back away in just barely. The Medevac's got 4 health. Does HuK get there in range? No, he will not, but in doing so, he forfeits the Marines. That being said, though, they actually killed, I believe, both the sentries.
Yeah, they killed both sentries and they got a Stalker. I actually think this was a more than reasonable trade for for MajOr. Like, where did the Medevac go? The Medevac survives, so he can always repair it. A little bit of mining time lost, that's not the end of the world, but he forced out a Photon Overcharge. That's always nice, it's something. And above all, 2 sentries that were full of energy, which could have, oh my god, the Widowmine is still alive?
Yeah,
what?
It's still alive and kicking and doing some damage. Where is it?
How did that happen?
Where is it?
What happened with that Observer? That I don't understand.
Oh, there it is. There's the Widowmine. Okay.
But like, what happened with that first Observer? It was like on 99%. I didn't even look at it. I started looking at the Marines because, you know, that Observer was about to pop. There was nothing to shoot over here for the Widowmine, so the Photon Overcharge was supposed to take care of that.
Sometimes Observers, they play a dangerous game where they just go in a different direction, and you're like, you son of a bee.
I have no idea what happened to that Observer. Because, like, this is the only Observer that... No, he has 2 Observers.
He scanned. He might have killed one, you know.
I guess he just misread it, yeah.
There's a scan. He might have got it.
No, there's... Yeah, actually, an Observer did die. So you're right.
That Medevac dies. Okay, so... Oh, and this Widowmine does get spotted. An actual nice little pickup from HuK. He's able to get the Medevac and the Widowmine there at no cost to him whatsoever. A bit of a miscue from MajOr. MajOr's going to push out, though, and without that other Medevac, this is, you know, 12 Marines and a Medevac. Not very scary at all. A lot of times you'd look at this time. Imagine 20 Marines and 2 Medevacs right now. HuK with 4 Stalkers, 2 Sentries. I think he's just toast. But as it stands right now, a couple more Warpins, he should actually be in fine shape. And with this Medevac only half health, there's a real chance that MajOr loses this as well.
Yeah, MajOr shouldn't overcommit over here. There is a Photon Overcharge available as well. There is a chance he just wants to get a couple of probes, but he doesn't even have stim yet. So he will force another Photon Overcharge. Now that's something, especially at the highest level. Energy on that Mothership core is extremely important. So it is something that MajOr can work with. And of course, behind this, MajOr being the clean macro Terran that he is, has also 3 bases. But in the end of the day, I think HuK is still quite pleased with how this all went, despite that one Widowmine doing way more damage than it should have.
Yeah, of course. He'd like to have those 5 or 6 probes back, but a lot of times Terrans take their third well ahead of the Protoss, and that's a position where Protoss are not certain. They're certainly not happy, but they're okay. But in this case, HuK has had a clean third base for himself. Now we have a very large drop queued up here. 3 Medevacs moving out, and if you look at the Observer movement, it's not very there, but oh my god. What if this probe spotted that? Look at it.
That would be ridiculous.
This would be the most hackerest of probes. Okay, good. It's not going to. Can you imagine MajOr be like, you hacking son of a gun?
That actually got extremely close. This is indeed a little tricky, but HuK does already have a cannon. 2nd and 3rd cannon even on the way.
And he'll have a Photon Overcharge.
He will still have indeed another Photon Overcharge, so he shouldn't take too much damage. This scan is also very like, hey.
Yep, HuK's already moving. He sniffed it out. There we go. The drop comes down. Cannon target immediately. And HuK with the Photon Overcharge, and then immediately...
Pick it off, but he should fly to the 3rd base. He should pick all up the units, and he should fly towards the 3rd.
Yeah. HuK with a good split here, though. He leaves his Zealots back at his 3rd, and there's actually 2 cannons there as well. So all in all, a pretty darn good defense. Not a lot of probes lost there. This third will be challenged, but the Zealots are just buying time and even dealing decent damage considering they don't have charge.
And Neo Colossus making his way down the ground as well. HuK with all these defensive cannons indeed doing an excellent job and just not taking too much damage, even when he's a little bit out of position or being pulled out of position because of the excellent play from MajOr.
What?
What happened?
Sorry, at the third,
Yeah.
HuK executed a Zealot.
Mutiny.
Yeah, it's just weird because we just saw a spawning pool get destroyed in the game previous by cats. These non-Korean players turning on themselves. Look, they don't need the help. 3 more medevacs queued up in the back here to drop as well. And you know what? Sorry, I cut you off. To your point, though.
No, I completely
really
lost my point, so I don't even know what it was.
Sorry, I cut you off and scattered your brain. Then. Third base with cannons finishing up and a Templar. This is actually a super well-defended base.
Yeah.
2 Templars, excuse me.
I think MajOr, like, he's going to try one more time, but I think this is about the phase in the game where you're just going to have to realize this Terran player, all right, I'm not going to break this. He has cannons in every single base. I guess that was my point, that HuK did not take unnecessary risk, but he has High Templars defensively. Cannons, you can't drop this. You can't drop a base with 3 cannons and 2 High Templars. That is an absolute suicide mission, if I've ever seen one.
A little bit of a speck of luck here is that MajOr is actually way behind in upgrades, like just now getting 2 attack, 1 armor.
I don't understand. I think MajOr is making a mistake trying to do damage over here.
That's really bad, but...
Oh, good feedback
nice
there
feedback
as well.
there. But HuK has not been working with 2 forges, and even with the one that he's had, it hasn't been super emphasized considering how early he made it. Remember, he made that before he made his robo, so this could be a lot worse, but both players not emphasizing upgrades very much.
To be honest, I would like to see HuK start to be aggressive. He wiped in a few Zealots on the other side of the map, but by the moment Blink is ready, I really feel that he can start moving forward with his Colossus army. He has Colossus and Storm against the Terran player that has been throwing away a lot of units. He does have double starport, so it's not going to be the easiest defeat of all time. And here we go, HuK is moving across the map, and I think this is smart. HuK's army is so much stronger right now.
Yeah, it's interesting. I actually fully agree with you. These Zealots are doing so much damage by themselves. HuK has the intel between his Zealots and this Observer that there's not a lot of Terran to fall back on. But look at this new HuK. He's like, nope.
Yeah.
Zealots are doing some damage. That's good for me. I'll take a 4th behind it and play even more passive. And there's a lot of people that prescribe to this thought. I mean, this is very Rain from like SKT1, who will almost not attack you to death. You know, he'll harass, you'll attack into him, and he'll defend it so cleanly that you end up leaving the game because you just can't touch him. You know what I mean? I've seen it.
You're like, all right, I give up. It's like running into a brick wall. You know, you try a couple of times, and then you're just like, this wall's not going to go down.
People do. They pull all their SCVs, and he just smashes it, and he's like, all right, you can leave now. That's fine.
And MajOr, of course, is also not a Terran that's often in a rush. He loves to play the longer games as well. He has a 4th command center on the way, but so far, HuK has played very well. And this army from MajOr is moving across the map, but I have a question I want to ask you, but it's kind of a long one, and it's a complicated one, so we'll wait until this attack is over.
Okay. 3 cannons there as well, and this is something you put it out, Kevin. I'm ready. My body's ready. 3 cannons buy a lot of time, but the remainder of MajOr's army is going to make its way in here as well. Templar getting off a big center mass storm, but for the most part, MajOr makes his way out of that.
How many medevacs is he going to lose, though?
Well, actually, it should be a dead Nexus, but he said, whoa, there's too much Protoss behind that, and the Nexus stands.
I don't mind that decision too much from MajOr, because in the end of the day, that Nexus only represents 400 minerals. It's 18 minutes in the game. That Nexus is not detrimental to his economy. And if he would have lost 4 medevacs full of units, so I think that was a good call by MajOr. I still think he's kind of in a bad...
Look at this. HuK has left all his Colossus behind, and that's a calculated choice. It's not by mistake. He's... I don't know... it's weird. It's really weird, by the way.
This is like 50...
Gets all the medevacs here.
Oh, look at that Widowmine. Okay.
All right. Well, what happened off camera is HuK did intercept and run down all of the medevacs, and the remainder of their army just dies here. I think MajOr's in agreement with us. He doesn't know what's going on either. He's like, wait a second.
Who am I playing?
Yeah. It was really weird because it's not like there's 25 Vikings out there, so that's why HuK would say, okay, I shouldn't attack with my Colossus. What he was saying is, I'm going to defend my base with my heavy hitters like the Colossus, and I'm going to push out. But it's just really, I don't know, it's a strange choice.
Blink is almost ready, and these 2 medevacs are going to fall as well. Look at HuK, he has so much money in the bank. He has excellent map awareness. Okay, these Widowmines did get a couple of shots off. Do we have an observer with his army?
2 more over there too, they're gonna get more. Oh, okay, HuK sees him.
Oh, HuK with the cute place.
Almost.
Try to kill it. A for effort.
Cute. You know, you could just make an observer team. There's not the urgency of killing these mines.
I would
right
like to
this
see him
second.
keep trying. He has 3,000 minerals anyway, so this is an excellent way to spend some minerals. You know, for all the good stuff HuK has done, this game is not won just yet.
No, it's not.
On lower levels, it is extremely hard to kill a Protoss army like this, and I know all about it. Another Widowmine got a shot off, apparently. But, like, Major has a lot of ghosts.
You know what's scary, though?
Tell me.
A lot of ghosts, but he's maxed, and he's got, what, 5, 6 maybe Vikings?
7.
7, and they're at +1 attack, nothing more.
I love the double forge stemming from HuK. He's like, I almost have 3-3. Let's get the second forge.
Yeah, well, there's nothing else to spend the money on, I guess. But I actually really, I can't see Major stopping this army, and it's literally, it's a question of he does not have enough to deal with these Colossus. Man,
Poor Archon, man.
I don't understand that at all either.
He's like, let me...
He's like, you're tough, you can take it. You can take it.
I mean, he was right. The Archon was able to take it. I agree with you, though. The Viking count is just not... I mean, like, there are a lot of ghosts in his army. There are quite a few Marauders as well, but
a lot of Marines.
And a lot of Colossus. There are 5 Colossus for only 7 Vikings.
This army's going to melt.
Playing with fire.
Well, yeah, he's about to.
He's playing with lasers. That's even worse.
He's playing, yeah, exactly. That's pretty good. And both players are trying to negotiate and fill each other out. In defense of Major, if he can get off all the appropriate snipes and get the Templar down, if he can get the EMPs on the majority of the army, very much so a finesse situation, then even with just 7 Vikings, he could end up winning that fight. And here's what he's going to do too. He's going to parse off some units to drop. Both players are maxed. HuK can't warp in anything to defend this. He's just making cannons. But in doing this, Major buys himself time and he allows supply for Vikings. Exactly.
I think that's super important. He's also already almost having +2 on his Vikings, so this is still a real game, guys. There's so much energy on these medevacs. Jeff, I know as a Protoss player, you just want to see feedbacks go down.
Oh, everyone wants to see that. It's not as satisfying as Scourge hitting a science vessel to be that Brood War elitist, but I'll settle for it. Now, Major can't help but to be a good Terran. He's like, wait a second, I'm going to get out of here to save their lives. No, Major, throw him away, buddy. Like, behind this, he is building additional command centers, so he is earning time. And again, he is
the Viking count is climbing.
Yeah, he
is climbing.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, here he comes. He's out there again. One thing I like from Major is he's actually, again, oh, geez, this base can't be attacked. Oh, on the right side.
Oh, those poor Marines.
Oh, those are all new Templar. Never mind. This can be attacked.
Man, those Widowmines have been there for a long time, getting a couple of shots off again.
I know, he needs to
Major
throw an
is doing
Archon
this very
and
well, though. He's doing some serious damage right now on the 5th base on units that we thought that were almost just being thrown away.
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna get the Nexus. No, he shouldn't. But still, that was reasonable.
Couple of Templar.
Yeah.
Not bad.
He's evening up the units lost resource step as well. He lost like 3,500 more. We did finally get our feedback, but it wasn't as satisfying as when it was on full energy. So
this is
it's
so
still
Major.
Good. This is Major's army, though, is going to be so strong, Jeff.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how you feel about this, but when I play against Terrans of the caliber of Major, I have a lot of trouble fighting this army. Like, I know that Colossus and Storm is awesome, guys, and I know that it destroys Terran armies, but 18 Ghosts and 16 Vikings, and then unlimited scan from all those orbitals, it is hard to find the right engagement.
I mean, no, I fully agree with you. We're going to have a massive drop in the 3rd. And HuK will just get down there and clear it up. This is, again, just kind of trying to earn supply. Marines, Marauders, he needs to phase these out. Because to your point, Kevin, and it's a really good point, Vikings, very durable. Not just with their abilities, but they actually have decent armor and good health. And then Vikings, of course, they close out Colossus. Once you get to 3 attack, they will destroy Colossus quite well. So I feel like the Protoss answer has to be flanking Templar.
Yep.
You need to come in from different angles. If you can land a Storm or 2 on either the Ghosts or the Vikings, or God forbid both, then a lot of times you'll soften them up enough that just a couple of volleys from everything else will run them over.
Look at this army of US Navy SEALs, or Lone Rangers, since we're in Texas after all.
Green Beret, yeah, Lone Rangers. Well, they're not so lone, I guess, though. That would kind of...
This is such an expensive little army running around. And actually really good against Zealots as well.
They're good against everything, but yeah, Zealots in particular.
That
now,
is
Major
so
wants
sick.
this other base. He's mined out his main. His natural is not too far behind, and his 3rd, again, not too far behind. So if he goes down to just 1 mining base, notice, too, he doesn't have a bank. Major is a victim of his fantastic macro. He's dropping mules right and left. He's able to trade out a lot of his supply for SCVs. So again, it's not so dire. Major is building up that super army, but he needs to keep in account that right now he's looking down the barrel of only one mining base. He needs to fix that.
The thing is, though, I do feel like if MajOr gets the fight that he's obviously looking for, then often Terran wins it so decisively that, you know, from my point, you wipe in 20 Zealots, but it's still not going to change the outcome of the battle. But yeah, you're completely right. MajOr has one shot to win this game. His army value is absolutely ridiculous, like 10,000 in minerals, 4,500 in gas. It's really strong.
It's a very expensive army. And HuK's done an interesting thing that I find a lot of Protoss do, but I very strongly disagree. If you see a lot of ghosts, I think warping in Archons is one of the worst things you can do. Like, what it does do is it says, hey, Terran, you must EMP these. If you don't EMP them, the AoE from Colossus and Archon in Storm is unfathomable. But if they do land a bunch of EMPs, this army becomes 10 health bunny rabbits. They just kind of disappear.
And it's not like MajOr really has to think carefully about what he has to EMP.
Right.
With 20 ghosts on 200 energy, he just EMP all day, every day.
That's a good point. So, it is not hard for him. He's just like, and you get EMP, and you get EMP, and you get EMP.
Oprah Winfrey is everywhere today, isn't she?
Yeah.
You get an EMP, you get an EMP.
I'm sorry, but when someone does that in a studio full of people, it's going to echo through time.
I know, this is going to be a really interesting battle. Let's take a look at the gateway count of HuK, because I think he has 22 gateways or something. HuK has 26 gateways currently.
You're way off. All right, a couple of straggling Templar out there trying to thin out this army, but MajOr scanning ahead with that infinite scan that Rotterdam kind of alluded to. It's like Marine Marauders taking the storm in the teeth, but otherwise, all right, that was a pretty good storm. But the Bioforce kind of pulls back and is healing up. He needs, HuK, needs this to happen while fighting. He needs MajOr distracted, just like that. A couple of storms do go down, some feedbacks. Now that's what he needs.
Yep, because he has way more money, so HuK can trade High Templars for Ghost all day, every day right now. That is an excellent trade for HuK. He can do this for a little while. MajOr took a little bit of a beating, actually took quite a bit of a beating. Some of these storms even hurt his Vikings, so I think right now he's just going to sit back. HuK is going to go for it.
He's coming through his own bottleneck, and he's just walking into the EMPs.
What are the Vikings doing?
The Vikings, however, are all bunched up, but the Archons couldn't give a damn. They're going to walk through it. The EMP's whiffing, and the army gets just smashed. MajOr, I mean, I looked at that, and I was like, HuK, you're throwing it away.